Um,
All right, it's Friday night. You know exactly where we want to be, right here at the House of Stein with the Hot 10 for 721. Big shout out to CBSI. I'm sure as soon as we finish this going over the list and everything, Stein's going to drop it on their website. So,
yeah. So we got Yee filling in for he's like pulling his best McClay tonight.
Yeah, I know. I tried doing my best McClay intro. I didn't go all fancy with like OBS and all that, so I kept the slides pretty simple. And yeah, but how's it going, Richie?
good. I want to show you guys something. So if we have time at the end, if not, we'll wait until Bryan comes back. But let's see here. 706 subscribers. We broke the 700 subscriber threshold on my channel.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, thank you guys, and I love the rushes you guys have been giving me. It's not just like 1 or 2; it's always like 1, 2, and then like 10. I really appreciate that. So we're going to be giving away that Rocketeer 1 in 25, Rocketeer 0. It's a 1 in 25 incentive. Probably going to wait until Bryan comes back next week. That way we'll have it all queued up and we can do this properly because we're kind of like off the cuff right now. But while Aaron's here, he's not going to disappoint. So take it away, Aaron.
Yeah, I do like to be punctual, so that's one of my things. Even though I do like to medicate with McClay and as McClay does. But yeah, should we get right into it, or because I don't have all those?
I mean, do you guys want me to do the truffle shuffle first?
Come on.
Hey, they say my stomach's like a surfer's dream. Slap my hip, take a wave in. All right, pretty stupid. Let's go.
Hey, can you believe that those people are like close to 50 from the Goonies?
Are they?
I think they're older, right?
Yeah, because I came out in the mid 80s. So,
yeah. I mean, I do remember the cast of the Sandlot were at the TriStar Houston show, and what was it? They're all like, I think in their 40s and 50s and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, big shout out to Mr. Longshort for the $20 super chat, and he says, "I'd be on with you guys tonight if I wasn't stuck in the sticks of Maine."
Hey, and I owe Longshort a response. I've been dead to the internet this week, and so I have not responded to his last challenge to me. So I will be on that tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been meaning to bring a card to work, like because I have access to like football fields and stuff like that, and I've been showing off sports cards against Josh's like Pokemon cards in grocery stores and stuff like that. So I've been wanting to like pull a football card and be like, oh, I hope I score a touchdown with this one and show up. But I just been so slammed at work that I didn't have time for that. And it looks like we're getting in a $4.99 super sticker from Miss Horsecock Express, one of the best YouTube names ever. So yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and start with the buy on the dip. And I don't have the cool intro videos for that, so sorry about that.
BTD by the dip, brought to you by Spec Media and the House of Stein.
Yep. So make sure you're signed up for Spec Media, and then
was that like a little ASMR there from Richie? He was like, "Oh,
oh yeah."
All right. So the first book we have on Buy the Dip is The Good Asian #1.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, just like what it was like just a few months ago, this thing got optioned or something like that, and everybody was buying it. The price for 9/8 jumped up to $125. This was, like I said, this was just a few months ago, and I've heard this is a good read, but I don't know. I haven't read it or anything. Have you guys read this?
Yeah, I mean, I glanced through it. I've read it a couple times. More, it's like an noir kind of,
Yeah.
and everybody's Asian, pretty much. I mean, not everybody, but most of them. But yeah,
At least the good one is.
Yeah, it's like a noir mafioso kind of shoot 'em up kind of deal. I haven't, like I said, I glanced through it a few times, but I think this is a really, really sharp eye by Ben. It wasn't even March, April of this year, so just a few months ago, James Wan, who you guys know, does the Conjuring and a bunch of other, The Nun and all that other stuff. He picked up the rights for this book, and we were talking about it on the Hot 10 just a few months ago. So good eye.
Well, thank you, Johnny. So I hope it is a biography of my life or one of my past lives. So,
but yeah, so this week a CGC 9.8 of this sold for $20. So
wow.
Raws were selling for like $15 to $20, like steadily, like so. To see a CGC 9.8 sell for 20, and especially with the increase of price of grading, right? But but I mean, it could also have dipped in price just for the simple fact that writers are on strike, actors are on strike now, and so no one knows the future of like some of these options, like if they just get tabled forever and never see the light of day again, or eventually, let's dust this project off again.
Yeah, 20. Every week it just blows me away that people would actually be okay with now. Whether or not these people actually send these books, I don't even know. But I mean, just when you start seeing like CGC 9.8s of these books sell for like $10, $15, like why would you? I mean, I get moving through products. Sometimes you have to take a loss, but I would only take a loss if I'm still actually getting something that would be able to reinvest. Like, okay, cool. I may have to take a loss on this $500 book and take $400 for it. Okay, but I can reinvest that $400 and make back that difference. When you're only talking that you're only getting $10, what are you going to invest in there? I mean
buying your next shipping label.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It's so confusing.
Unless you've done it thousands of times or whatever. But even then, that's not a sustainable market, right?
No, because you're. I mean, just in the fact, unless, like I said, unless you just pick up a collection, I mean, you're already basically like $14 in the hole at $20. Yeah. Forget fees, just in flat, flat economics. I mean, it costs you to ship it to them and get it shipped back, and the grading, it's cost you $34. So you're $14 behind.
That's just on one book, but you're always sending tons of books. So, I mean, and another thing is that I want to bring up, Ben must have like the awesomest comic budget ever, because anytime I even lose money on something, I'm looking to buy baseball cards and pay child support and all this other stuff. Ben's got the life.
Man. No.
Well, I feel like some of us, if we bought into stuff so cheap anyways, right? That even in a down market, you're still selling somewhat at a profit, right?
Yeah.
I would assume, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously that's going to fluctuate some. But yeah, I mean, if you make sure that you're never paying top dollar, which, I mean, there are times that I've paid top dollar for certain things that I just want, and I know that I cannot get it unless I do.
Of course.
That's one thing. But other than that, I mean, if it's stuff that's, I just try really hard to be as frugal as I can. If I can get something that's selling for 100 and I can find it for 10, then I'll buy it. But if I have to pay 50, then it may be
it's like a coin flip situation, right?
Yeah.
How much do I really want this? And it's almost like I'm going to sleep on it and decide in the morning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then how much did it sell for again? No, I'm just joking. All right. I decided to do it early. All right. So the next book we have on the by the dip is Hellboy, Seed of Destruction #1.
Yeah, so this is first Hellboy solo title, I believe. Is this the first time he's in color as well?
I don't remember.
Is this the Seed of Destruction? Now I have this is just the comic, not the hardcover, right? First solo
just
title.
the comic.
Yeah, so first solo title. Hellboy series. You have a really good origin of Hellboy in here as well. And then you also have First Rasputin and then Trevor Brutenholm. I think issue 2, you get a couple of first appearances as well. Goes all the way down to issue 3. First 3 are definitely keys, but number 1 is a good eye right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, this has been, for years, this has been a pretty stable book. Chad, I don't know what frugal means. I just throw words out, even if I have no idea what they mean.
I remember that store Pick and Save. It's now Big Lots. Well, it was Pick and Save over here. Well, when they were going through their transition from Pick and Save to Big Lots, they were called McFrugals.
Yeah, it was called McFrugals in my area.
That's really funny.
Like, I've never heard of Pick and Save. So yeah.
Yeah, he's in California, so they do things weird out there. So
yeah.
But yeah, so this has been a solid book for many, many years. But it did sell this week. It sold a CGC 9.8 sold for $160, which is the lowest price that it's sold for since before COVID hit.
Really?
So yeah, $160 for 9.8 of this.
I liked the last Hellboy. I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, there was some cheesy parts, but I mean, I liked it. So,
you're talking about the movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
I think this is a good eye. This is a decent play.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this fan base is like getting like a really strong like cult following, right? I mean, that's how you can tell like when books like somewhat retain their pricing, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and then to go through like multiple directors and multiple iterations, you can see like almost like a snowball effect, and then and then on top of that, an all black cover, like to score 9.8 in that, forget about it.
I have to wonder how many's on the census. Good question.
I will say this. So Mrs. Horsecock says this, about basically these one-off sales.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you hear about like pump and dump, mm-hmm. You should also consider the flip side of that people will pump to buy, or dump to buy. Sometimes they'll put these sales on there to drop the price because it's something that they want. So you can manipulate the market both high and low. Because, once you do have, some of these outliers, some of these people either on the high end or on the low end, it's a big deal. And,
yeah, like I had sold that Peach Momoko Ghost Fighter like on an auction, right? And then I had someone that bid up my book to like $300, and then they retracted their bid the next day. And I was like, kind of like, well, that's weird. Like, why would you drive it up so high? And then I looked at the person's profile. Oh, by the way, I'm selling a raw one of the same book. And I was just like, I was like, that doesn't really make sense to like drive it up that high and then retract your bid. I mean, it ended up selling it was early into the auction anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know that like eBay doesn't care because they could care less. But I'm surprised that there aren't people out there that are like not just doing like small investigations on like one-offs here and there for stuff like that. But I'm surprised that somebody out there is not actually tracking this stuff. Tracking by it used to be easier, 20 years ago. Buyer user IDs, you could see who they were, and so you could track them. So you could click on their name and you could see that exact buyer had bid for 50 different times on the same person's auctions and never won any of them or won all of them or something like that. And so you could kind of tell. But once eBay started basically knocking that crap out or not letting you see who the buyers were, it became much harder. But I think that was, I don't want to say eBay's, that's like their
protecting themselves.
Their big dirty secret is that they don't care. They make their money regardless, and so they don't care what people bid on these things. But
yeah, they're just going to put as much security on the algorithm, to try to bust those VPNs when there's multiple sellers in play, buyers and sellers that are on the same cahoots. Yeah, I hear you.
No.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the next book we have on By the Dip. All right. We have The Walking Dead number 100, the Heroes Initiative blank variant.
Okay, so this one was super interesting this week. So if anybody doesn't know anything about this book, basically what this was Walking Dead made this book specifically maybe like 100 copies or something like that, and they sent it out to artists, and the artists drew on them, and then they sold them for Heroes Initiative. That was the only way that you could get this book. Well, somehow some of these were not drawn on, and some of these got out. And my guess is they probably sent several to each artist is probably what happened. They probably gave them like, hey, we'll send you a few of them. That way, if you mess something up, you can do it. You can just start a new one or something like that. My guess is what probably happened. But these blanks are really hard to find. Now, whether or not you think a blank cover should be worth a lot of money or not is definitely up for debate, especially when Walking Dead has other blank variants out there. It really doesn't have any special meaning other than it's just impossible to find this number 100. But, estimates on this, I mean, it could range from, there might be 50 to 100 copies of this only with no drawings on them. But this has been very expensive book. Like just like a couple months ago, this sold like raw for like $1,200. There are some graded copies with just the blank that for some reason a bunch of them are graded by PGX, which is a bit interesting. On top of that they're not CGC graded or CBCF, they're PGX graded.
You think somebody might have had like a side deal with them with PGX, like
I don't know.
pre 9.8 or whatever?
Yeah, I don't really know what the story on that, because they're not necessarily all 9.8s. Some of them are 9.6s. So I don't really know what the story is with.
Well, I wonder if they thought like, oh, if I send this in the CGC, they may confiscate it for me because they know the history of it and I'm not supposed to have it.
Well, maybe that is true too. Maybe CGC won't grade it because it wasn't supposed to be
a circulated book.
Right, a live book. Maybe that's a good point. I don't know. Maybe that is the case. But this sold this week for what I think might be the lowest it's ever sold for. Sold for $480. Now it sounds like a lot again for a blank variant. But again, this is like, I don't know how rare this book is. I don't think anybody actually does, but it just kind of has like one of those like backstories behind it that's kind of cool. There's actually some copies that are drawn on that are not part of, like, you can look at the list of all the initiative. All the ones that they gave. Yeah, all the ones that they gave out to go for charity. You can see a list of all those drawings, and there are copies out there that are drawn on that are not part of that. So like there was blanks with different drawings.
Well, I wonder if it's like an artist buddy thing situation, right? That like, I have this extra blank, like, here, draw on it or whatever, or I couldn't get to it, so could you do this for me? Or,
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's an interesting story behind this book. The Walking Dead has a couple other weird stories, like that third print that only ended up in the UK at one store or something like that, whatever that number was, 120 or 130 or something like that, whatever that was.
Yeah. I always think of the Volkswagen issue, the 10-year anniversary for issue 1.
The Volkswagen? I don't know that story. So
if you buy a car during the 10-year anniversary of Walking Dead, so what, 2014 or something like that, Volkswagen had their own comic issue for Walking Dead issue 1 or something like that.
Oh, so you got it when you bought a Volkswagen?
Yeah.
So it was like a promo book, kind of?
Yeah, it was like a promo book for their 10-year anniversary. And it's supposed to be like a pretty rare fine book or something like that.
It's so weird, but
I don't know what Walking Dead and Volkswagen having to do with one another, but like, yeah. But I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that's the story about it. But I've seen it. I mean, I've never seen it once in person, but I've seen it sold or like for sale somewhere online.
So weird, but Yeah, like I said, I thought it was an interesting story, and the price that it sold for this week was so low for what it, like I said, what it just sold just before, it was like over $1,000. So I think somebody got a steal on it.
Yeah.
If you think $500 for a blank variant is a steal, but
I mean, but there's other books too that there's other books too that blank variants that go for like way more than than like a normal blank cover would go. Like I always think of Bitter Root.
Yeah. Was that like issue like number 9 or something like that, or
I think it was like 8 or 9. I can't remember.
Yeah, something weird. Yeah, there's a Daredevil blank that's pretty hard to find. But then the other Daredevil blank is not hard to find at all. So it's like you have to have the right one, and you're like, it's still just a blank cover. Who cares?
Right. I'm still gonna have someone draw on it,
right? Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. For our next on the dip book, a G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, number 53.
So this one was interesting to me because this was like this looks like a Bryan McClay book. Like he loves these Marvel, with the picture frame. He loves that series. He loves G.I. Joe. So this one's kind of a classic cover for this, and it's because of it being the Marvel. What do they call that? The
anniversary frame.
The anniversary frame. Because it's it's got that and stuff. People search these out a bunch. But this one sold this amazingly. CGC 98 of this sold this week for $88, which is really low. This is usually about a $200 book. And since 2020, there's only been 3 sales that have been below 100 in 3.5 years. So somebody picked this up and got a really good deal on it.
This is a Zek cover too, isn't it? A Mike Zek?
I do not know.
Okay. I want to say it is, but I don't know off the top of my head. But as I was putting the slides together, I was like, oh, this is a Bryan McClay book. Like, what am I doing here?
It's definitely a McClay book. This fits all of his, or checks all his boxes for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because he has like a full set now at this point, doesn't he?
Does he have because the hard ones are like what, Care Bears and
Care Bears?
Is the Heathcliff hard to get, or the Ewoks or something like that?
Yeah, the Ewoks one. I know it. Is there a Smurf one too? I think, right?
There might be.
I know there's a couple. Yeah.
I think these anniversary frames are undervalued. That's my personal opinion. I think they're really low. This one, it is a Zek cover. Yeah, good call. Sorry, I didn't say anything. I was looking up to see if there was Canadian price variants and Mark Jewelers for these. There are Mark Jewelers, but I couldn't find a Canadian price variant. I'm sure there's one out there. There's not one listed. There are Australian price variants though of this. And I think it's number 50 through 121. There's Australian price variants, but I couldn't find the Canadian. So if you guys see a Canadian price variant, it will say 95 cents and it said instead of 75, and it'll be a newsstand. Let me know if they're out there because I'm definitely hunting it.
Okay, it's the Muppet Babies and Care Bears.
Okay, I knew it was like really like like kitty shows or something like that. No. Did I say Garfield?
I think you did.
Instead of Heathcliff?
I thought you said Heathcliff.
Did I say Heathcliff? Okay, I couldn't remember.
I don't know. We'll find out on the rewind and comments later.
Yeah. So. we'll edit it out.
That's all Brian. So
we'll edit it out to what not published. No.
Okay, there we go. Oh, but we do have 124 live with us watching. So thank you so much for joining the House of Stein.
Yeah.
So smash those like buttons and and make sure to hit that bell for that notification. All right. What's the next book we have on the Buy the Dip? All right. One of my favorites. Something That's Killing the Children, number 1. Jenny Frison variant.
Yeah. So, gosh, man, this one kind of hurts because this cover is really good. and especially especially when this came out. Now, for some reason, this one like it jumped up in price, just like the A cover, but not as high. Never got as high. Probably only got about half. I think this thing capped out at maybe like 500 or 600 for 9/8, something like that. When the A cover, it cracked over 1,000 at one point. But man, this thing has plummeted to the point where this week a CBCS 9/8. And again, I know some people hate CBCS, but I'm just going to tell you this, and I've said this before: they grade hard. It's not as easy as you think it is to get a 9/8. It's just as hard to get a 9/8 through them as it is through CGC. So you may hate the case, but if you're buying the book, you could switch it over if you really just are that much of a CGC homer. But a CBCS 9/8 of this sold for $100 this week.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
and then CBCS increased their prices for grading as well. But I mean, do you think it also is that there's so many different versions of the same cover that
it does hurt, I think. But I mean, you think about it. I mean, the A cover has a bunch of versions as well. I mean, there's the foil and and then there's
this would still.
Or you just saying?
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, for specifically this prison cover, right? Like you had the foil one, you have the black and white with the blood splash, the all black and white that was just at the diamond, like lunch or whatever, and then all other printings on top of that.
See, Justin says nobody except Dennis wants CBCS. Not even worth talking about. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't know why. I don't understand. I really don't understand.
It's the label. It's just the label. They changed the label to something that's more
eye appealing.
Eye appealing. The optics are there. Like, whoa, this was not done on a Kinko's or FedEx copier. That's what it looks like. Their label looks like Ben or me or Aaron, not even using a computer, would copy and paste. We freaking chop that shit up and then put it in the printer and keep printing it until there's no lines, like the old mortgage guys. Yeah, like that's how bad it looks. Their case is beautiful. It's smooth. It's sturdy. Your book does not bounce. Oh, I hate when I get CGC books, especially 9/8 and thicker books, and they're in the thicker cases, and they're always I can't stand that.
The square bound books, yeah, you can feel it shake. And then for a while I was using both companies. Like I was using CBCS and CGC, and the books I sent to CBCS weren't even books I was planning on selling. It's books I just knew I was going to hold onto, and then if I ever needed to sell it one day, then I would get a decent chunk of change for it, right?
Look at this.
And I get look, and I was just going to say, I mean, I get the recent. I mean, honestly, over the past 2 years, up until I just sent some signed books to CBCS because I had to, because CGC won't authenticate signed books. I mean, I haven't sent a book to CGC or CBCS since like 2018. So yes, I get it. I send all my books to CGC as well, but I don't understand the hate. I really don't. It makes no sense. I know they've done some dumb things. CGC has done some dumb things. I mean, both companies are not perfect. So no, not at all.
So I think they're going to have a more level playing field, in my opinion, as the magazine market starts to become more of a thing, right? Because both companies are grading magazines now at this point, like within a reasonable turnaround time,
right?
And then CGC updating their cases, CBCS finally be able to do other sizes than just comics. So I think it's going to be an interesting market to see what happens with that in that aspect.
This was not open to order. I believe this was an unlock variant, right?
Yeah, this was the final
FOC
order.
Variant?
Yeah, the FOC variant.
Yeah, I think this. I thought you guys made a really good analysis at the beginning. I think this cover. I mean, Frism was already on her way, but I think this cover kind of just solidified, right? I mean, everybody went crazy for her. Hated I don't like the different. She used the same colors, the same muse, and then used the knife in different ways. I didn't like that. I thought this should have been left the way it was, but no.
So McClay, and yeah, no, he asked me to fill in for him. He gave me a call on he gave me a call on Wednesday and was like, hey, can you run the show on Wednesday? I was like yeah. And without thinking about it, I was like, oh shit, I have work like at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm like, I hope someone else jumps on or no one jumps on. And so Joe jumped on. I was like, kind of like, okay, I guess we are going to run the show. So we started running the show. I was like, do you know anyone that we could, a third person to jump in case like we go on past my scheduled thing for work is? And he's like, yeah, let me hit up someone. And he got Matt Kennedy jump on and join us. And so they were conversing. I was sitting there working and I just chimed in every so often. But yeah. All right. And I believe that was our last book for Buy the Dip. I don't have a cool video clip to transition into the Almost 10, but here comes the Almost 10. All right, for the Almost 10, we have the Spawn number 5, the German Chameleon variant.
Yeah, so I don't know why I didn't really know that this book even existed. I know that there was that German Spawn 5, because Spawn 5 is the first Angela in German. So it's not Spawn 9, it's Spawn 5 in Germany. So there's like that one that's like all silver, and then all the pencils are like embossed. So it's like a really cool looking. I knew that one, but I didn't know this one at all. Did you guys know about this book?
So I think I knew about this one and not the one that you just described.
Oh, and not the silver one?
Yeah. I know about the two you're describing. There's like one that looks like a bluish, like a light bluish silver, and one that looks like a white silver. So variant embossed cover, reprint of number 9, like you said, in German. And then this one, the second one, is a German reprint of 9, first appearance of Angela. It's a second printing, off-white embossed cover. And they're saying that it's more rare than the first print. But I never heard of this one.
Yeah. So you knew about this one, but
yeah, just because that green stands out so much, right? That like
it does.
I mean, I hate to use the word, but Spawn and this iconic green go hand in hand. And so I definitely remember this book, and then hearing about it with the that I was starting to get into foreign books and stuff like that. So that's how I kind of knew about this.
Okay. Well, this one definitely does not come up for sale often at all, because I couldn't even find, even if I went like back on the last 2 years on eBay, I couldn't even find another sale. But it did sell this week, and it was a signature series, McFarlane, and he signed it directly, dead center, right below the Spawn logo. So it was like really clean, straight across. Like it looked like somebody had put a ruler there. He had it.
Like a window box of exactly where.
Yeah. And it was dead center, right below the Spawn logo and everything like that. But a CGC 9.8 of this sold for $1,000, which you figure the McFarlane signature probably added maybe 100, 150, something like that to it. Which means like a blue label of this would be like 800 for a German book. German reprint book is crazy.
Yeah.
So this is issue 5, but the guts are the reprint of 9, right?
I think so, yeah. But I'm not a form person, so I don't really know exactly. But it's something like that.
Yeah, Josh is in the crowd. He'll clear it up for us.
Tough book and pricey. Oh yeah. So let us know, Josh, if you know what issue is actually inside. So to say it's issue 5, but Stein was saying earlier that the issue that Angela's first appearance in Germany was issue 5.
Okay.
Cool. Comments.
Hey, right. Can you hear? I just turned a little tiny fan on. Can you hear it?
No. Can you hear my fan?
No.
Okay. I think we're good on that. He's saying Spawn 9 and 12 IIRC, if anyone really cares, right?
Yeah.
But is that what that stands for? I forget. I always forget.
German issue number 5, and what's reprinted is 9 through 12. That's what I'm getting at. Or 9,
In America.
9 and 11.
9 and 11. Okay.
In America.
Okay. Ooh,
Oh,
Liger actually has the silver embossed Germany.
Ooh, nice Liger, man. Liger's always got good books, man. He's got a good eye.
Yeah. All right. So next book on the Almost 10, we have Spider-Gwen number 3, the Yasmin Putri 1 in 25 variant.
When I saw this, when Ben gave us the list backstage when we were warming up, I was like, who in the hell spent money on this?
It's a bizarre looking cover, right? Like I couldn't even figure out it took me a second to even figure out what was even going on. Because it looks like she's like in a bowl or something. It's real weird.
It's almost like she's like standing in front of a tag or something like that. And there's like no background to it.
Yeah, it's so strange, but so this was a CGC 9.8 of this sold for like $100 in April, which is probably not terrible. I mean, for a 1 in 25. But it sold this week for $3 1/4. So I don't know how hard this book is to find. It is a number 3, which generally the number 3
is tough.
1 in 25s are tougher. But I mean,
super tough. I've looked for this book everywhere. I can never find it in the wild. And every time I look for it online, when prices dip, I can never find like a copy that's even worth. You know what I mean? This is a good book. I don't think Ben called it right before. There are a lot of cover buys in tonight's list because of we're Comic-Con crazy and stuff. But I think this is a good Comic-Con book too. With Across the Spider-Verse just dropping a month ago. I believe it just came on digital, Wednesday? So, if you see Putri or you see Sarah Pacelli or Bendis or whatever at the Comic-Con, you could do some really fancy, cool stuff on there. So
it's a little racy when you actually read the wording for a Marvel cover, right?
What's it say, Stacy? Was it?
Where the F are you?
Yeah, I mean, like it's.
Yeah,
I mean that's.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe it's just like since they did asterisk it out or whatever. That's probably why it got through Marvel censors.
Maybe.
Or editors.
Yeah, maybe.
Personally, I like issue 2, the Sarah Pacelli with the black cover, but that book is tough and high grade, where she's like upside down.
Is that like with the moon or whatever?
Yeah, I got a couple of those, and I just pressed one for a buddy. I'm sending to CGC. It's tough book in high grade. Not tough to find, but tough book high grade.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty tough to find Spider-Gwen and sensitive ratios, and then a lot of times sometimes like one of those higher ratios will overshadow some of these other ones, like the 1 in 25s or whatever, or even 1 in 10s. All right, next book we have on the Almost 10, we have Action Comics number 686, the DCU variant.
Yeah, so you know how much we like the DCU variants here. This is one of the ones that's a little harder to find. It's not the hardest one to find. There are some of them that are like nobody even knows they exist, hard to find. This one's not that, but it is definitely one of the harder ones to find, I think. And I'd have to go back and look at all the notes and see exactly how. I think these Funeral for a Friends came in 2-packs, and I think they were like only sold at like one rate, like only at KB Toys or only at Kmart or something like that. Like it was very specific how you could get these. So these were a little harder to get.
Was that because of how much news and popularity during that time around the death of Superman was?
I don't know why they didn't distribute these more. Because you would have thought that with the Funeral for a Friend being such a big deal, that it probably, because it was more nationally known, that would have been one that they would have distributed all over the place. But any of these Funeral for a Friends with the DC Universe logo, they're all pretty tough. None of them they're all worth decent money. This one has always kind of been of those, it's kind of been the one that people want the most. I think it's because it's got a good Supergirl cover on it. Is probably the reason. I don't remember who the artist is on this, but
it could be like this nostalgia for it too as well, because I assume a lot of us were collecting comics in the 90s and remember, this event, and then this is like what the post-mortem event of it.
Yeah. But this week a raw copy, which you're definitely gambling with raw copies. But a raw copy of this sold for $360 this week, which is tough because there's not very many high grades of these. I did have this book at one time, several years ago. I actually graded it. It got a 9.4, which seems really bad, but this one's pretty tough because of that black cover or that black spine. All those Funeral for a Friends are pretty tough to get in really high grade, but
yeah, because I know Dino sold his 9.8 like at one of those like all-time high prices.
Oh yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of people that really, really want this book, but $360 for a raw is still pretty. That's pretty strong for a raw copy
in this market, especially.
Yeah.
No. Did they auction it? Do you know by chance?
I can't remember if it was auctioned or if it was a buy it now. I honestly don't remember.
All right. So our next almost 10 book, we have Invincible Iron Man from 2008, issue 1, the movie photo variant.
Yeah. So this one is not. I don't think this one is a. This is not an incentive, is it? Is this an incentive?
I know some of the earlier photo variants were incentive variants, but I don't know about this specific one.
Yeah, like this one doesn't even say variant on the under the Marvel logo, so I'm not sure what if this was an incentive or not.
I'm pretty sure it's not a ratio. Pretty sure.
I wonder if it's a qualifier then or something.
Could be a qualifier. That's a good call. I would bet it's probably a qualifier. What was up with the other one? Was that just open to order? The one where RDJ's got half his, you know what I mean? For this.
Oh, issue? that was a 1 in 10 or 1 in 15, the wraparound.
Okay.
And then the one where he's punching the ground, where it's the full image, that's a 1 in 25.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw somebody say get Terrence Howard to sign this. That'd be kind of cool.
Do
I wonder if he would.
Yeah, I don't know if he would. Yeah, it's a good question.
Does he even do cons?
That beats me.
I think he probably does. I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff, a lot of pop culture, TV shows and movies.
But yeah, so this sold this week. I'm surprised. CGC 9.8 sold this for $400 this week, which is the second highest all time, and the highest all time was just a single sale like during COVID. Wow. 400 for this for 9.8.
That's impressive without signatures at all on it. On top of that,
and what do you guys think the reason is? Is it you think it's because Terrence Howard's on it?
I have no idea.
Oh, where it's like kind of like, oh, we need to make this book disappear.
I know Longshort is really into these photo covers. And I guess if it is harder to find, I guess I could understand it. I don't know.
If he has it, it looks like he has some ammo for his next challenge for you.
Oh, but speaking of Rhodey, though, have you guys been watching Secret Invasion?
Oh, 100.
I have.
100.
Yep. I've been enjoying it.
There's a lot of stuff now that can go.
That
retcon or whatever you want to call it. I mean, we call that a retcon? Kinda, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've enjoyed it actually a lot. So
we're not going to spoil it for you guys.
No.
It's really good series, and I'll be honest with you. When I first got into the D+ and MCU stuff in 2000, well, not D+, but the 2008 and the Iron Man movies and stuff like that, I didn't want to see anything that had to do with stupid spies until I really got into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's when I started kind of appreciating the whole spy network of the Marvel Comics. But now, after that catastrophe they call Phase 4, I think this series is a breath of fresh air. I really like it. I think it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, and then plus there's only one more episode left, right?
Because is there one or two?
I thought they were only doing 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
All right. Let's see what we have on the next Almost 10 book. We have Young Allies, number 6, the Art Adams variant.
Oh, that's never seen that before.
Yeah, so this one, gosh, this one, I think it was several months ago. I think it was like a 9.8 of this sold for, I don't know, 1,100 or 1,200, something stupid. And we were like, man, that's crazy for this book. Like, it's still just a 1 in 15, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see it. I get it. It's rare. If you like Art Adams, I guess it's definitely an Art Adams cover.
It's one of the better ones. Yeah, you got to be, but you're right. You got to have that taste for Art Adams.
But I still do get, like, I guess it was last October. I was in Memphis, and I drove across. I drove into Arkansas, into Little Rock, from Memphis. I had a weekend. I had a day off, or a day that I got done quickly. So I drove to Arkansas and went into this store, had a ton of stuff. This book was on their wall, raw. I think they had it for $125, and I left it.
What?
Yeah, I left it. I didn't buy it.
You probably could have got them down too. You probably say,
yeah,
I'll give you $100, $90.
Yeah. Well, because I did spend good money there on a bunch of other stuff, but I left it. I was like, it's not really my cup of tea. But yeah, so this week a CGC 9.2, not a 9.8, not a 9.6, a 9.2 sold for $1,500 for this.
Oh wow. Goodness.
Yeah. I am blown away by this book.
Wasn't there a raw one that sold not too long ago for like some crazy money like that? Like at least like $500 or
something. I mean, it's insane. But $1,500 for a 9.2. Oof.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, it's like I said, I know it's not the easiest book to find.
I would be 100% down as to hang that 9.2 on my wall. I want this book.
Well, do you think someone's gonna like CPR it, or do you think they bought it in so high that it probably doesn't really matter?
I have a feeling it's a really thin book. I have never touched it. I've never pressed it or anything. I have a feeling it's a really thin book. So if there is any colors, 9.2 to me sounds like there's at least 2, maybe 3 color breaking spine ticks either on the front or the back. They might go through. So I don't know if I'd mess with it, but hey, that's a good option, Aaron. That's an option.
Yeah, I mean that's an expensive gamble, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you get the money, I guess you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
Yep. And if you have the money, you could be like Ben, just pass it on and say.
At 125, I'm not taking that gamble.
Well, I mean, again, like this was back in October, so
so it's before all these like
I mean, so
record high sales go.
Like at the time, I think that the last sale that I saw was like 160 or 170, and I was like, that's a good deal, and I probably should buy it.
But you knew which way the market was going.
Yeah, it felt like everything was kind of falling apart at that time. I was like, it just seems like a lot. Again, I'm cheap, I'm frugal.
There's nothing wrong with that, and that's the way to go. I mean, this is one of those, though. They're few and far between. They slip through the cracks and they hold their value.
So. Yeah. All right. So for the next book we have on the Almost 10, we have Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes number 23, the Adam Hughes SDCC foil variant.
All right, so now we're going to start getting into some SDCC books, and I know some of you guys like hate these things, and I get it, but I mean this happens this is I think the 7th year I've been doing the Hot 10 list. I think 7 years, maybe 8. All I know is I actually last week I went back and looked. This is list number 356, and I started at started at 55. So this is like the
299.
Yeah, it's like the 300th list or something like that I've ever done. So going all the way back, SDCC books, when that week, they rule. They just do. It's just the way it is. That being said, okay, so they've already done a Lamole, right? Like years ago. There are foreign variants of this. There are foil variants of this. Then now they're doing a virgin foil at SDCC. They're doing another Mexican foil with the trade dress that's not the Lamole. I'm like, come on. Do we really need now again?
Well, and then how many homages on top of that?
Yeah.
Also.
I mean, I get it. It's like literally one of the best. It's the best Adam Hughes cover ever. I get it. It's, basically started the variant age, in my opinion. I get it.
Iconic.
But do we really we just don't need it. We don't need all this crap. We don't need these things being reprinted. And you're going to see this throughout the list. There are so many reprints. Like nobody has any imagination anymore, apparently, because all they're doing is just reprinting books. And somebody is buying these. I don't know who, but somebody is buying these. This one, I think the buy-in on this was like maybe $25-$30. These are selling for like 80 to 90. Now,
and I already see the chats like they have pitchforks already.
Oh, they're going crazy. Look at it. It's moving. So, there's like that delay between us. It's like going like a slot machine.
Yeah, like ever since like the slide went up, like it's just started. And then but I mean, I appreciate Ben's explanation on everything that he went over. Like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, each of us were given 5 copies, to like put it on the almost 10. So I'm just joking. Like,
I mean, look, I can't hate on people that are out there trying to make money. There's nothing. It's not a thing of that at all. It's just, I don't know. It's not even just this book. It's just the number of books that they're doing this with. Like, it's just insane. I mean,
well, have you seen that they're actually just even doing this title like Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes and doing different covers for it as well? Like I saw I want to say it was like a David Nakayama cover or something like that.
Oh yeah, where it's just Supergirl standing up or something like.
Yeah. Like I mean, I get that. Like this is people want this book for this cover, right? But like just to reprint that book with a completely different cover, I don't really understand. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's not a good David Nakayama cover, but it could almost been like any other Supergirl title ever, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and they've done it with BA12 as well. I mean, how many con variants have come out for BA12? Mm-hmm. A ton. Just here in the last 2 years. I mean, so many.
And half of them are John Boy Myers, but.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like his artwork on that. I mean, because that was about the time period I was getting back into comics. So,
yeah, it's just, I mean, you guys can take it for what it's worth. Again, I'm not hating the players. I do hate the game.
Just report what's selling.
Yep. And make sure to buy a copy off of my eBay. So, but I'm just joking. I didn't buy any of these. All right. Our next almost 10 book is Usagi Yojimbo Ice and Snow, the preview, limited to 250 copies.
This is interesting. I'm glad you put this on there. I wanted to hear about this one.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how exactly this. Like I saw Stan Sakai doing his own Whatnot show, right?
Yeah, because they got some pretty big names doing their own Whatnot shows. Like McFarlane was doing one earlier.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, if I was an artist, I would cut out the middleman every time. I mean, Campbell kind of started all this. I mean, with just doing his own. He's like, I'm just going to do it my own. Like, forget sending these to Midtown. Why am I working for Midtown? I mean, I'll just do them myself, and I'll keep all the money. But yeah, so now that Sakai's doing it, I don't love this cover at all, and I'm not sure what this Ice and Snow. It must be like some kind of Usagi
new character coming.
Yeah,
well, new character, probably like a mini series, but like still ties in with the overall story.
Yeah. So, but yeah, limited to 250. I think there is a black and white of this, but I think the black and white may be higher print run.
I bought one the other day, and it was limited to 500.
500. So the color would be the one that you would want of this, which is unusual.
I like the color.
But for the black and white one, it's a different cover completely.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it the guy on the left? Because that's the first appearance. Is he on it?
I honestly bought it because it was signed by Stan Sakai, and I did buy it on Whatnot, but it was only like $50. And you know, Raw's sign of the black and white cover they're selling for like 50 to 100 on eBay regularly. So I was like, oh, adding this Sakai signature, I was like, I'm stealing this from this person.
Yeah. Well, this one's selling for like 80 to 90. I have no idea what it's selling on Whatnot. I would assume that's probably what it's selling for there, if that's what it's selling for on eBay, but
or somewhere approaching that, right?
Yeah, somewhere close to that, but who knows? It's the market is very, very strange right now, I guess is just a good word for it. But yeah, 80 to 90 is about what this thing is going for.
But I feel like it's the scarcity price, right? That it's only going for that much because there's only 250 of these.
250 is pretty low.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and especially since like Usagi's like, you know, they're switching over to Dark Horse now. You know, with Stan Sakai's company, the Dogu. So that's his like own store variant.
Is that okay? So that's what that is. I saw that on the cover and I didn't know what that meant, but
yeah, so that's his like store variant name. So
okay, yeah. That makes sense.
All right, so for the next book on the Almost 10, we have ScoobyDoo, Where Are You? Issue number 38.
Yeah, crazy, right? So there's been several of these Scooby-Doo books that have popped up on this Almost 10 over the last several months. I don't know what print runs are on these. I would assume that
gotta be tiny.
Yeah, I would think it's for a DC book. I would think it's got to be tiny.
Pretty sure there's newsstand copies too.
And there's probably like someone's kid's copy or whatever, and it's probably beat to hell. So
yeah. So what? Daphne's like Elvira is basically what this kind of look is supposed to be, like an homage to Elvira.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Well, especially with the hairdo, right? And then and then. Yeah.
Well,
the slit dress, crystal ball.
Yeah, so this one sold for $35 this week. So I'm not saying go out and raid your Scooby-Doo back issue bins, but why not? I mean, I can almost guarantee you there is no store out there that has put this on their wall. If they have it, it's going to be in their back issue bin, right?
Yeah.
Which means you're going to get it for $3. So for $3, there is like literally no risk whatsoever.
No downside.
But I don't know. I need to actually go look through some of these Scooby-Doo covers because
I agree.
I mean,
it's nice.
Apparently, there's some out there that are kind of interesting covers. So I might as well just keep looking for them.
And Elvira has a huge following, and there's always that time of the year or a time every 2 years all of her stuff goes crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then we're approaching Halloween too, you know, so this is the time to like doing your last minute scoop of.
I can't believe it. We're right around the corner from Halloween. This is insane.
No! Don't start that. No, it's summer. We're not getting into fall yet. No,
Football,
bro. It was like in Ohio today. I know it's been hot in Texas. I get it. Here, I think it literally went up to like 74 degrees in July. 74 for a high. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. 74 for the high.
And are you complaining or are you happy about this?
Oh no, I'm not happy. No.
That's amazing weather. What are you talking about?
So like,
it needs to be 90.
What's usually your high? Is it usually like in the 80s or 90s?
Yeah, this is probably our hottest. This and like end of July, 1st of August is like our hottest, and it probably our average is probably like 86, 87, something like that. But I think even like the low tonight, I think it's supposed to go down to like 60 or 59 or something like that. Like that's not good camping weather if you wanted to go out camping. It needs to be summer. Lows should be 70, highs should be close to 90.
Yeah, I think earlier this week we hit a high of like 104, 10 something. So
yeah, I know a lot. I know basically, west of the Mississippi, it's been like blazing hot. I get it, but it has not been here at all. This has not been that hot of a summer at all. And Miguel, I live in Ohio.
All right. So let's see what we have on our next Almost 10 book. We have Clive Baker, illustrator #1, the hardcover with the slipcase, limited to 200.
Okay, so this one is a really weird one. I don't know much about this. This came out in the 90s. The price on this was like $50, something like that, to buy this. Everyone, like inside the book, it does have like a little sketch and individually numbered on the inside of every one of these. So yeah, there's only 200 of them. I don't know. I don't know if there are illustrations by Clive Barker. I have no idea. Yeah, like I believe, like horror Clive Barker. I don't know if it's him drawing it. I really don't know. But
it's really interesting.
It is. It is a hardcover. But this sold for $850 this week. So
wow, $850.
Yeah.
And you said the original buy-in was $50?
Yeah, like $50, something like that. I think is what I saw on my comic shop.
Okay. That's quite the come up. And I mean, because I know I bought a Usagi one similar to this, like where it's a hardcover and it has a drawing inside from Stan Sakai, and it's a limited publishing, whatever. But it's from his Grass Cutter series, one of his most like iconic series.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Up the Down says, yeah, Clive Barker also draws. So this is apparently a book of a lot of Clive Barker's illustrations. Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
I do have a
someone's asking why $850.
I'm not really sure. I mean, it's only two. Like I said, there's only 200 of them. So when you get into some of these things that are really, really, really low printed, I mean, if you got fans, it doesn't take many fans to all of a sudden drive up that price.
Oh yeah, where it's like, oh, I want it. No, I'm the biggest fan. Kind of
situation. Right. Yeah. And if there's only 200 of them, I mean, it's just another one of those things of, well, there's just not many of them out there, and if you want it, you're just gonna have to outbid somebody for it. So
yeah. For the supply doesn't meet the demand. All right. And our next book on the Almost 10, we have U.S. Avengers #1, the Rodriguez Louisiana variant.
This is so weird. I mean, they made one of these for every state plus
Canada plus
Puerto Rico,
and there was one other territory.
All the territories.
It was all the territories. Okay.
They did it. Did they do a DC one as well?
I don't know if they did DC, but it was your first team appearance of this new U.S. Avengers. You get your first Robert Maverick as the second Red Hulk. You get Tony Hulk becomes the third Iron Patriot. It's out of continuity. I don't believe this is 616. And I guess it's, what do they call those? Marvel event combined with a new U.S. Avengers team. So now they went ahead and plugged in all of the U.S. territories and states in the background.
Which is really funny that they did a UK one.
Right.
Yeah. For Captain Britain.
Well, they did Deadpool for Canada,
I guess, but
I mean that's still the North. North America.
I mean, I'm fairly certain that most people, other than buying their own state, like had nothing to do with this book, right? They're like, I could care less about this book. I'm not buying 60 different variants of this. But
that's not even including the incentive ratios for
each character that is shown on the cover, their state, that is their origin typically. So she's you have Spectrum, she's Rambeau, and she's from Louisiana, right? Yeah. So on and so forth. That's what I'm getting from it.
Well, this one sold for $50 this week. So I'm not saying go out and buy all of these when you see them in the dollar bin, but I would assume that a lot of these covers are probably in the dollar bins.
Yeah,
right?
There's a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think some of them are 1 in 10s. There's a few of them there, like ratios or something like that. I don't really like them. Don't care for them, and I see them a lot. I'm guessing the print run on this book had to be pretty big as well.
Well, if you're doing all 50 states and additional territories and countries, I would assume there had to be at least like 1 or 2 stores that bought all of them, right? And then could you buy all the states, or did you? Or were you? Could you only order from your own state? I don't know how that worked, to be completely honest, because
any retailers that were ordering books January of 2017, let us know.
Yeah, because I think that was like a time period when I was getting back in, right? So I'm sure some retailer will let us know.
Hey, what up, Chazelle? Yeah, Chazelle's really good. He's really good at this stuff. He says Midtown Comics had them all. There was also a one per store that had all the covers on it. Thanks, Chazelle.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that one where it's like in tiny boxes and it goes all the way across and then across. Okay, you could order any you want.
Thank you, Ultra.
Okay.
All right, and that was our last almost 10 book. Do I have anything for the actual hot 10?
Probably not.
No. Nope, I don't. All right. So we'll just bring up our first honorable mention book. Hey,
the only thing new that we get this week is me having a microphone. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
I did notice that, and I was like, do I say anything? I was like, or do we just keep it going and act like it was there the entire time? And you never saw it on the camera angle, right?
Yeah. So I broke down and bought me a decent mic. So
is it a Yeti?
No, it's a Shure.
It's a Shure. The one that that like Red Hood and Bryan use.
I think so. I don't know what the brand. They've only got 2 of them that I guess people use. It's not the super expensive one. It's the second super expensive one.
Yeah. But. Well, it's a really good mic, but anyways, all right. So for our first honorable mention book, we have Tales of the Teen Titans, #1, the Alex Ross SDCC Virgin C variant.
Yeah. So first of all, this is the first week that I have not had a Golden Age as an honorable mention. Well, I know since we've been doing the show, It's not happened since then, but
it threw me off. I was like, which order is the list? Like, I was like, where's going to each book?
But because of San Diego Comic-Con this week and the volume of books that were selling well, I had to put this one on. Now, I put this as an honorable mention. One, okay, we love Alex Ross. Alex Ross is basically our modern day. If you like Silver Age, you think, I'm not going to say who you guys probably think. It's not who I would think, but you would think, certain people. But I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to get slammed. So I'm not even going to say it.
He's in my opinion, he's the modern age iconic artist.
Yes.
The Norman Rockwell of modern age.
Yes, absolutely. And this Starfire is crazy good. That being said, so this one is selling for like 75 to 100. I don't know if it is still, but it was still available on his website for $50. So I don't know if you had to request it, because I got an email from Alex Ross store that said, hey, you can buy our San Diego Comic-Con variants, and you could buy the A cover, you could buy the A and B together, which is a different Starfire, which is like at the little pink sketches or whatever, like the design variant, or you could buy the C cover. So it is still you could buy the A and B together for 75, or the C cover for 50. So I don't know if it's still there, but I will say this: the reason that I did not buy this, I do love this cover, but the reason I did not buy it is because Ross does not put print runs on his. So remember last year at San Diego, those unbelievable Batman covers that he did, where Batman's perched up on the thing, you can still buy that on his website for $30 still.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, it makes it impossible for me to justify spending $50 on a book that I know there could be 10,000 of them.
Like,
as much as I do love this cover, I can't justify it in my own mind.
So say he just went in and invested, what's the minimum, Aaron, 3,000 and 1,500. So he went ahead and just bought 9,000 or 10,000 of these, and now it's borderline print to order.
That's what it feels like.
Or it's like one of those situations, right, where you sell out of what your inventory from the time period, and if you want to restock it and print it again later, which is the thing, apparently.
Great cover.
And I see a lot of people saying Kirby in the chat for the Silver Age reference, and I was thinking Ditko for some reason.
Stay here.
I was trying to. But I remember like Stein saying that, like on one of the shows that I'm not going to repeat the words, but but I was thinking Ditko personally, but that's just my favorite Silver Age artist.
Yeah. But I will also say this: there aren't that, and surprisingly, there are not really that many great Starfire covers out there. Like you would think that Starfire would have dozens and dozens of great covers out there. There just aren't. There's not that many of them. There really aren't.
The Looney Tunes cover, right?
Right, yeah, Looney Tunes. There just aren't that many. Gosh, I just wish he would have put a print run on this, because I would have bought it. If even if it was a 3,000, if you'd have just said 3,000 print run, I would have bought it. But with no print run, I just can't. I cannot justify spending $50 on them.
Oh yeah, to justify the cost amount.
Yeah. But it's beautiful. But don't pay 75 to 100 is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you can get it, especially if you can still get it off the website, don't pay scalper prices, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Oh, people are saying that Art Germ did a great Starfire vid.
Interesting. I have to look into that. Thank you.
Alrighty. And our next honorable mention book we have Invincible number 2, the Rose Besh SDCC variant.
Shout out to Ben Stein, the largest, the biggest Rose Besh fan of all time. Ben Stein.
Look at those legs. What in the crap is going on with her legs?
She could be a good wrestler. She got chicken legs. You can move that weight up and down.
Okay, so I don't understand what is. This kind of goes back to the Supergirl thing. I don't understand why. I mean, other than it being just a complete cash grab by Image, why they keep reprinting Invincible? Like they just keep. I mean, this is book from 20 years ago. I mean, 18 years ago, whatever it is. Why are they going back?
Season 2 dropping soon.
I guess, but it makes no sense. Like, okay, cool, but why don't you just do a new story? Why are you just reprinting books from 20 years ago? I don't understand. Now, I will say that I did like how they are releasing these. Every single day of San Diego Comic-Con, they're releasing a different book you can only get on that day. So it's a little better for people who can't go every single day. You can only get, the Capullo on Wednesday, the Rose Besh on Thursday, the whatever on Friday. It just is different every single day. But I just don't understand
for Friday.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I do not. Richie is right. I am not a Rose Besh fan at all.
Is that Rose Besh? Is that Rose Besh's iteration of Adam Eve?
Yes,
it is. Right?
Oh
yes.
Man. Not even close.
It looks like it's like prelim drawings of that Harley Quinn book she did a while
kind of. Yeah, good call. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, for Rose Besh, it's cool, but man, that does not look like Adam Eve.
I mean, it has that very manga style, right?
Oh yeah, and I get that, but man, I mean, look at those feet are ginormous, and her left calf is. I mean, I'm pretty sure she stole that off a Rob Liefeld book.
I know. It looks like
took a lesson. Yeah,
yeah.
Took a lesson from Liefeld.
Yeah,
Liefeld.
But yeah. Anyways, this one's selling for like $80. So I think the buy-in. You will have to forgive me. I don't know the exact buy-ins on all of these because I'm not there.
I think it was like 15 or 20, if I'm not.
Yeah,
mistaken.
that sounds right.
I mean, if you're at the con for that certain day,
I would spend 15 or 20 bucks.
Yeah,
I would grab this.
Yeah, I mean that's easily like like a meal for the day, right? Or like part of the day con expenses.
Yeah.
All right. So for our number 10 for the Hot 10 list, we have Something is Killing the Children. Number 1, the Andrew K. Curry SDCC variant, the red/silver.
Yeah, so they've got two different versions of this. They've got a red. You can see the around her neck that's got red foil, and there's another one that has silver foil. I think the print runs are exactly the same, and so they're selling for I think exactly the same, which is right around $75. I'm not sure. Okay, so like I think her face is great, but I feel like she has like a tree trunk for her neck. Why am I so critical? I shouldn't be this critical. I should not be this critical, right?
Well, it's almost like the bearded lady look to it, right? Instead of a bandana, because like I get like kind of what it's going for.
I think it looks creepy as shit.
Yeah,
I like it. I don't own one, but I wish I did.
It's almost like a floating head situation, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just guess I've never seen somebody's neck like, I mean, just straight up like that. I don't know.
But I mean, like, even if it had shoulders or something like that to like kind of give you a perspective of where the neckline was, I think it's, I don't know.
Ben, do you know the what the print run was on this?
I will tell you. Hold on, give me 2 seconds, and I will look it up.
And this is San Diego Comic-Con, right?
This is at San Diego Comic-Con. This is, I think it called. I don't know what the deal is with this pen and ink. What is that? Does that just mean that it's only?
I think
there's no there's no color on the inside,
because this is for issue 1, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, so this is for issue 1.
I thought it did.
So I think they did like, so they're reprinting the books, Something Is Killing Children right now again with the director's cut, and it's all the like it's all the director cut stuff on the inside.
Print runs 1,000.
1,000 for each of the red and the silver.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, because I think the silver one that was released before the con, wasn't it? Like, because I want to say I saw people in like one of the Something Is Killing the Children groups like showing off pictures. I don't know if it was the seller or the producer, of this, or if it was, for signing up for a certain like retailers special or whatever for it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I initially thought, man, this is really good, and now I can't tell.
I like the more that you look at it,
yeah,
you kind of like deconstruct it, and you're like kind of like, eh.
I like it because of the black eye, the black pupils. It just looks so creepy. Like we were talking about James Watt earlier, James Wan, I believe his name, with The Conjuring. Kind of reminds me like she's kind of possessed. Shout out to Maxon City Collectibles from Vegas. He said Ben needs a bit of Brian's weed. It's a handkerchief draped around neck minus shoulders. Calm down. He's talking about her iconic,
bandana.
Yeah.
So,
I see where Ben is, where you're caught in the middle. But personally, if I could get it for buying, I'd be all over it.
Now my, like, when I just like kind of, when you're not like staring directly at her face, which I think her face is done really well, but like when you just kind of back, now it looks like a Pez dispenser.
Yeah,
that's what I'm imagining is Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
But I will say this is definitely better than the Todd Knock headshot variant.
Oh yes, those are terrible.
Yeah, so all right. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 9 book, which we have Invincible number 1, the Greg Capullo SDCC variant.
Yeah, so this one was given out the first day. The Rose Besh, I guess, was given out the second day, I guess is how it was. Something like that. I'm not really sure, but it's something like that.
It's on the Skybound website. Yeah.
Yes. There is a black and white of this, and I think the black and white was purchased different than the color version.
Yes. So I think I read, so like on the Skybound website, for the black and white sketch one, you had to eat at a certain burger restaurant or something like that to pick it up, or you had to do like some weird like scavenger hunt throughout the con to complete certain tasks to be eligible to buy it.
So it sounds like they have taken a page from Dinesh.
Well, at least Dinesh isn't reprinting the same book over and just putting a different. I'm so sick of seeing this, man.
That being said, I mean, it's Capullo. It looks really good, right?
It is.
Yeah,
really good. Yeah.
The lightning bolt in the back.
I wouldn't mind the OA for that. That'd be sick.
Yeah. But again, it's just, once again, just reprinting books. I mean, it just seems like nobody's got any like new material. Like,
but even if there was new material, like, I don't think it gets the reception that like people want, right? Like,
probably need another season under their belt, and then maybe they can move on to the new writing. I don't know,
or even do like a spin-off series where it's based on like the characters from Invincible, like something, right? Something fresh.
Yeah. The colors selling for like 80 to 90. The black and white selling for a little bit more. I don't know which one's going to come out as the better one. But if it does sound like you,
I like the color.
I mean, I love the look of the color, but obviously, if the black and white, if you do have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get to it.
But it was also only available on that Wednesday too, right? I think.
Yeah, each one of these Invincibles are only available on that particular day. Now, what they do with them with the extra copies, I mean, I'm assuming that they would sell out, right?
Each day, yeah, I would assume so. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would think so, but
they're also limiting these to one per person.
Okay, well, that's decent too. I will also say, while speaking of Dinesh, Bad Idea does have a variant there. Again, I'm not there, so I don't know anything exactly about it. But it's a creepy looking cover for Save Now. There are no sales, which is why I didn't put it on the list this week. There were no sales, but there is one. There is one at auction right now. It still has like 4 days left. It's like over $300.
No way! Wow.
Yeah. So if you just type in "Save Now Bad Idea" in eBay, you'll be able to see what the cover looks like. It's a creepy looking cover.
Is it San Diego Comic Con exclusive, Ben?
Yeah, and I think I think you have to have had like some of those first pins or something like that to be able to get it. So I would think not many people would actually be able to get it, but.
And then Johnny, number one's not the Funko trading cards; it's the ASIC shoes. So just to save you some time. So, all right. And then how much does it sell for again? I think that was a pretty good impression.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. The
right.
color. But you need to be high while you're asking.
Yeah. How do you know I'm not? All right. For our number 8 book, we have Amazing Spider-Man from 2023, the issue number 25, the J. Scott Campbell SDCC variant.
Yeah. So
wow, I like it.
So Campbell had his like store variants, where he had, them all, Gwen, Mary, and Black Cat like doing like different poses, like they were like in the 80s and whatever, and he would have each one spotlighted. But then this one for San Diego, he's got them all 3 close, and I think the print run on this was like 2000 or something like that. So it's not like really rare, but if you know Campbell, some of these Campbell books in the past, 2000 doesn't necessarily mean easy to find either.
Right. I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
I mean, because like that Black Cat Noir is, I mean, I think the print run on that was like 1,500, and it's $1,000 book. So, whatever. But yeah, this is it's interesting. It's got those little chibi, is what they're called? Those little chibi people? Is that what those things are? The little tiny
anime people or whatever.
Yeah, chibi or something like that. I don't know.
Is that what they're called? Chibi? I didn't know that.
I don't know, something like that. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know. Those little
little anime characters.
Yeah,
the chibis are like almost like Tsum Tsum.
Yeah, they're like float. Like, is that like Venom, like floating back in the corner over there?
It looks like J. Scott Campbell and Scotty Young did like a little collaboration, a little bit. Or Dan Hip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very strange, but
I heard this sold out the first day. Okay, so before we go on too much, I looked up the stamp activities that you had to do for the Skybound stuff. So you have to have your picture taken with the photo booth. It'll feature one of the unique 360 wraparound backdrops each day. Number 2, you have to sample the Audible original Impact Winter at our listenable station. Number 3, check out the demo of one of our games. Number 4, sign up for the free Skybound Insiders membership program.
And that's for the Invincible black and white one.
That's for the Invincible.
Yeah. So I think it's for each day or something like that. And then, so it's just referring. I just saw burger, and I think it was probably because I was hungry. It's from the Burger Mart restaurant or whatever that they eat at.
Okay.
Throughout the series, and so they have everything set up as a menu.
Weird, very strange.
Yeah, but back to this book. Yeah, I heard this book sold out the first day.
Yeah, This one was a bunch of sales on this one. Pretty much consistent between 100 and 120 on this one.
Could you order from the website, from his website?
I don't know if you could, but 6 months from now, he might have a warehouse find.
Yeah. And you can get it for like $10, $15, something like that. Probably.
Right. Yeah.
Or he might even wait till next year's SDCC or something like that.
Yeah, RJ says that this list shows you the sad state of comic spec in 2023. I don't even necessarily think it's that sad.
I disagree with that statement.
This has literally happened every year since I've been back in comics, for the past 9 years.
San Diego Comic-Con.
10 years.
Yeah.
Well, how many people are at the convention, as soon as they get the book in hand, listing on eBay, some people will pre-sell it thinking they're going to be slick enough and be able to get it in time.
Yeah, the point of a lot of people doing that is because they sell these books so it pays for their trip. So, I don't have a problem with it, and it's this literally happens every single year. So,
right.
I think it's what's going to show up on the market report of that week, right?
Of course.
Right.
No.
Right. I and just to go on what RJ is saying, I agree with what he's saying about the market and spec and stuff to a certain extent, but using this particular show, not this show, but this live stream tonight, I think it's an outlier because we do this every year with San Diego Comic-Con. It's all it's selling. People are going crazy over these variants. So we just report what's selling. That's all.
So let's move on to number 7, which you'll be surprised. It's not an SDCC book, so I'm sure you'll be happy. But we have Marvel Comics presents number 95.
Yeah, the only non San Diego Comic-Con book, and it might be the book that I hate the most out of every book that's on here. As bad as I can't stand homages or those kind of homages. This book is, not iconic. Now it is a cool Sam Keith cover. I'm not going to I'm not taking anything away from that. But for this book to be a $5 book and now selling for $30 to $40, this is, you talk about just burning money. This is just burning money.
Well, yeah,
right?
Yeah, because it's going to drive down in price, just like that whole gap of the run, right? From issue 72 to I guess now 95, where it's all Wolverine covers and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is bad.
I like Sam Keith's art, but for certain things, right?
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of his when he was doing the Batman Arkham Asylum books or whatever, where it was like a mashup between Batman and the Max meeting up. And just the way he drew Batman and stuff like that. But to draw Wolverine like this, it doesn't even. It's almost like that Rose Besh thing, right? Where it doesn't even look like Adam Eve.
Yeah, I think that the thing that just irritates me about this is, okay, so whether or not this is an origin of the yellow suit or not,
from 180,
who cares? Literally nobody has cared for the past 30 years, and because Ryan Reynolds posts a picture of Hugh Jackman in a yellow suit, now all of a sudden this is a $30 to $40 book. Come on, that's terrible. That is not a good way to spend money.
I need to collect the backstory on that yellow suit. No, not me.
The yellow suit's been around. We all know about the yellow suit. We don't need this book that's probably got what 300,000-400,000 copies out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm grumpy tonight. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. You make a lot of sense. Newsstands are probably hard to come by in this book in high grade, I would imagine. But there are tons of copies in dollar bins. I've seen this book in dollar bins many times, in half price dollar bins, you name it. So this wouldn't be spending, $25, $35, $40 on the secondary market rushing to get it, thinking that, I better grab this before it's $100 book, because I just don't see this book ever becoming $100 book or anything like that.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure you can still find it in dollar issue bins.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even. I would never pay $30 to $40 for this book, unless maybe like my life depended on it. But my life doesn't depend on this book. All right, for our number 6 book, we have Transformers #1, the Ashcan SDCC variant.
Yeah. All right. So, Image is definitely taking this Transformers thing as far as they're going to. I mean, they're going to go with it. And I don't know what this is listed as an ash can.
It's because Void Rivals introduced that one Transformer. They're actually doing a Transformer series in November, I want to say.
So why didn't they just call it a preview? Why did they call this one specifically an ash can?
I'm guessing it's a few pages from, maybe one of their first issues or whatever. And then just to see what the reception.
That's like a preview though, too, right?
Well, it'd be like where it's actual panel work, right? And not just like character bios.
I mean, so when ash cans started coming out way back in the 90s and stuff like that, like they were literally like small little books that you basically would just, you threw them in the trash can, which is why they're called ash cans. But
right.
So I don't know why they would this. I think this is a full size book, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is this a full size book? Is it smaller? Do you guys know?
I would assume it's a full size. I think I've seen pictures and it looks like it's a full, like, regular size comic, but I feel like they labeled it as ash can because it's not going to be as long as a comic should be, like where it's like 8 pages or something like that.
Ultra has some pretty good information. It says they call it an ash can to cheat the release date. Okay.
Yeah, but preview is the same thing. I mean,
but
I like the cover, just to let you know. I think this is a badass cover.
Why is Marty McFly up on his shoulder?
Is that Marty McFly?
I don't know. It looks like Marty McFly.
Have you guys
with the
watched
jacket?
Yeah, it does. It does. Have you guys watched any of the Transformer movies? I think they're great.
It's been a while.
Oh, they're really good.
Only the ones with what's her name in it, Megan Fox. That's the only ones I've seen.
Oh, the one with the hot thumbs. Just Google Megan Fox thumbs.
Well, didn't she have to like wash what's his name, Michael Bay's car in a bikini every week or something like that for getting that role? Wasn't that part of her contract or something crazy like that?
Nice.
No,
that doesn't sound terrible.
For Michael Bay, right?
Right.
Yeah. But do you think they are also releasing an ash can during San Diego Comic-Con to try to get because they pre-plan out their exclusives for stores, right? That they have artists and already covers picked out. Do you think they're trying to like also kind of like, hey, we have this book out, you retailers that haven't signed up for a book yet, like this title is coming out?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys see the speaking of Transform? Oh, by the way, this thing's selling for like $80. Did you see the Transformer it's got a remote on it and it transforms from a dinosaur into the robot and it makes all the movements itself while it's sitting on the table? Did you see that?
No. Does it make the sounds too?
I think so, but it's directly from Hasbro. I think the price tag on it's like $1,000 or something like that, but it literally is like the coolest looking Transformer I've ever seen.
Wow, man!
Because it breaks itself off, and it's so cool.
Have you seen the Optimus Prime?
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, have you seen the Optimus Prime one where it's like a decent sized truck and then it transforms.
Oh, Shasale said it was 1,500 for that. I knew it was like 1,000 or something.
Grimlock.
Oh, so cool.
What were you gonna say, Richie?
Oh, I was just add some AI to that, to Grimlock or whatever, the $1,500 thing, and then we have big problems. You know, that didn't come alive.
Could be some issues down the road, right? All right, let's see what we have for our number 5 book. We have Void Rivals number 1, the Daniel Warren Johnson SDCC variant.
Well, I mean, I put these back to back because I think they
complement each other.
Yeah, they're very complimentary. You know, Marty's got his knee pads on this one. Maybe he's got the hoverboard somewhere too, but yeah. So this one's selling for about the same, like $80 to $90. I'm assuming that probably the print runs on this and the Transformers Ash Can are probably identical, right? They would make sense. And I agree with you, Richie. I thought the Transformers cover was great. And this looks very similar to the Transformers. So I wonder if people like are they gonna if they get one, are they gonna like have that mentality of like I have to have both?
That's a good question.
I would assume so. I mean, it's probably easier to list both of these together than trying selling them individually.
I would think so. Yeah, I would tend to think so
because it's very similar art style. Is it the same artist?
It might be, but I mean, but if you stole a box of them, you would only got just the Transformers, so it'd be really hard to sell both of them because you only stole the single box, right?
Well, that's why your buddy is like there with you to steal the other boxes.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, you are supposed to be working in teams. I mean, that's how everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Or it fell off a truck, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we have for number 4 book. We have Spawn number 1, the Puppeteer Lee SDCC variant. I'm sorry if I butchered his first name.
No, I think that's right. But first of all, the way his name is Puppeteer, right?
No, I have no idea.
I mean, that's what he signs it as. He signs Puppeteer on the books, but there's no way his real name is Puppeteer.
Oh, no, probably not. It's probably just like an artist name. Like just like Peach, right?
Is that a real name?
No,
it's not?
I don't think so.
It's an artist name.
Is it Mary? Mary Momoko?
Margaret Momoko.
I'm sure a lot of people would ask her, and then she probably doesn't say anything because she doesn't speak English.
Okay, here we go again. So we're reprinting Spawn number 1 for the 400th time.
We'll just give it the nth time. So, you can be as many times as they need to.
Yeah, this is a very good drawing though. Now, so or compute or AI generated drawing, whatever it is, I don't know. This one I don't think was announced. I think people found out about it at the show, but I'm not sure it was like well known ahead of time that this one was coming out, right? Or was it?
I heard it a couple days before the con, but I didn't actually see what the cover looked like until recently, until the con.
Yeah, finding images for this was tough. It's like you just go on the internet, Google it or something. You can't find an image, so it's pretty hard to find an actual image of this. But yeah, so Johnny said he found it on Tuesday. So I don't think anybody knew way ahead of time about this one for some reason.
But Johnny, did you know what the cover looked like? That's the real question. I mean, I knew. I think I heard about it on Tuesday as well. That Spawn was doing it. They were reprinting Spawn 1. Oh, yeah. Yanni posted something about it. He usually has his ear to the ground.
Yeah. So this one's selling for 100, which, I mean, as we will find out, I mean, as we all know, Spawn people love their harder to find variants. Yeah, they love them.
Do you know the print run on this, Ben?
This one I do not know. Let me see if I can find it though. Like I said, it was hard to find. It was hard to find a photo of it. Let me look and see if I can find a print run. I will tell you that if you do go into Cover Price, they've got a nice write up of basically all the San Diego variants. It says limited to 2,200, so it's not super rare.
Yeah. I wonder if it's more rare than the Mortal Kombat. How many Mortal Kombats are out there? Isn't there like 1,000 of those, and that book's like $500 or something? The GameStop Mortal Kombat. Interesting.
All right, so we're about to hit up to our top 3. We have 198 watching with us, so thank you so much. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. Ben will drop all this on the CBSI website. I think shortly after the broadcast. Is that when you do it?
Yeah, depending on how late I stay up.
Yeah. All right. For our number 3 book, we have The Mandalorian. Number 1, the Audi Grandov SDCC variant, limited to 700s.
Oh, this is so good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Grandov is really good in general. Like he doesn't do very many bad covers at all. And this one looks good. I think it looks good. Like normally I don't like sketch or black and white or anything like that, but this more has like I don't know, just like an old school feel to it. Like the black and white doesn't look fake black and white. It more has like a sepia tone to it. Mm-hmm. So it looks cleaner or something, I think, than just like a regular black and white.
Well, it looks like it's in the process of not only doing the sketch, but also like almost starting the inking to it, right?
Yeah, it's so cool. But again, I mean,
is this like a fourth print? Is this like a fourth print?
No, this is season 2.
Oh, this is season 2. Okay.
Yeah, so this one's season 2.
So they're still doing the whole replica of like straight from comic to, or straight from the series to comic
adaptation.
There we go.
Yeah, I guess that's other. I mean, it makes it easy, I guess, on the writer of the book, right? Like all he has to do is just watch the episodes.
But then it's so predictable too, right? You can predict when
it is,
like when first appearances are happening. Like there's no additional like side story to it.
Is it 100% comic accurate, which I thought it was at the beginning, but it's a lot of these comic adaptation Marvel books, not other ones, just talking about Marvel specifically. They also talk about what happens in between the shows. Kind of like make up some new dialogue. That's what they did for the Marvel the MCU adaptation books.
Yeah, I never read the Mandalorian series. Yeah. So I don't know. So I'm sure someone in chat has, we have like 190 people watching. I'm sure someone in the chat's read it.
This is a crazy cover. I mean, this is insane. Insane.
Yeah. This one's selling for like 100 to 125.
Yeah. Specifically the black and white one, because there's also like a virgin colored and a trade, I believe.
Probably. I don't know. They do it a lot. And it gets confusing as to where they come from, especially when they start doing like one of them is the A cover, and then one of them is the incentive 1 in 10, and then one of them is the second print 1 in 25, and then they do a con variant, and you're like, I don't know where any of these books, like 6 months from now, I won't know what any of these books came from. Like
that's why I don't buy virgin books, because I can never remember the title.
I know, I have to write it on the back of the board. If I don't write on the back, I'm like I don't even know I don't know how to sort this. I don't know what this book is.
I do the same thing unless I have the trade for it as well. All right. But a lot of people are guessing what their number 2 book is, and y'all guessed right. It's Mandalorian number 1, the Peach Momoko sketch variant.
That was a good one.
What
the hell?
The color looks a lot better than the sketch. I mean, Peach's sketch is like,
this looks like some shit she did before she became a pro. Like, I'm serious. I'm not trying to make fun. Like, how they have their like own little sketchbooks.
But it's almost like a prelim sketch more than anything, right?
Gosh. Is that bird on top of Grogu's head?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
That's probably like a little fruit he's about to eat or whatever. He's probably gonna eat the bird too because he eats everything.
He's just a baby.
Yeah.
Well, and this one now this makes no sense to me. Again, this doesn't make sense. This one is numbered out of 700 as well. This or the Gronoff, and this one's selling for more than the Gronoff. This one's selling for like 150. Now, how is that?
What do you know what the funny part is? They're sitting right next to each other at the con. They're like sharing table.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that like they're so close to get or like they're close in price, right? And then like if you're picking up one, you might as well pick the other.
I don't see that holding. I don't see that holding. Do you, Aaron? I mean, I see the other book surpassing.
Oh yeah, I mean, Star Wars and Gronoff, that's like peanut butter and jelly.
So how to make number 2, Ben? That's what these guys are asking.
Because it's selling for higher than the Gronoff, right?
How much, Ben, is this one selling for?
150.
And the Gronoff was 125, 100 to 125.
Yeah, like 100 to 125.
Wow.
So Johnny says it's all at Trinity Comics.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the store exclusive. That's
okay. And this is me. This is just my opinion. When these stores start throwing these of 700, I just don't buy it. I don't believe it until you start serial numbering these things. I will not believe that.
But to be fair, they also do have a trade color and a colored version. So, I mean, I don't know how that distribution works exactly, but I mean, we all typically know that's like what 3,000, 1,500, 1,000 or something like that. Is that how
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to claim it, great. I don't care if you want to claim it, cool. Just freaking serial number the books. I don't even care if you hand serial number them.
Yeah.
On the back.
And then Marvel's done it too as well, right? Where they've with the JTC negative variants where they printed on the print run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to do.
Yeah. Oh, we looked up the foil stamping tool too, right?
Yeah, you can do it yourself.
It's that whole kit you can buy on Amazon with a string of ribbon or whatever for $400, $300, something like that.
And don't think that if I ever decided to do something like this, I would 1,000% do that. 1,000%.
No.
I would call CGC up front, say, yes, I'm getting these books in. This is what I'm doing. You will blue label these because I don't care even if I had to fly a rep to me to verify what was going on, if that's what they required. But there is no way that I would be putting print runs out without verification.
Yeah. I see a lot of guesses for what the number 1 book is this week. So
it will not be My Little Pony.
Oh man.
Is there a My Little Pony San Diego book?
Oh, yeah, there probably.
There's a Tony Fleeks.
There's
a Tony Fleeks My Little Pony book.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess I have to send Tony back his book then. So but because I told him it's going to be on the number 1 spot, but no, we'll get into our number 1 book, which is Batman Superman number 1, the SDCC variant,
or Batman Spawn.
Oh, Batman Spawn. My bad.
You said Batman Superman.
I don't know how to read. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's 2 versions of this. There's a gold Batman and Spawn, and then there's a red Batman and Spawn. I don't know how you get either one of them. Are these at McFarlane's booth?
I mean, McFarlane is there.
This is the reprint for the Frank Miller McFarlane one, right?
Was this that Barnes and Noble one? Was it that cover, or was it the second print that you're talking about, Richie?
I'm talking about the McFarlane Frank Miller book from the 90s. I think it's from the 90s,
no.
right?
Yeah, so they did this title again.
Oh, okay.
A Batman Spawn.
Oh,
and then I'm pretty sure that this was what the second print cover where there's opposites, right? Where Batman's on top of Spawn, and then this one's Spawn on top of Batman.
Okay, and this almost looks like claymation, right?
Yeah, it kind of does look like that.
I mean, like, is this a drawing or is this like claymation?
Oh, it looks like it looks like someone had the art piece and then like put some sort of like Instagram filter over it, right?
Yeah, I can't tell, but
I like the cover. I think it's cool that he's choking Batman with the chains, and the Batman's looking back. I think that's pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, if you can find the print run on these as well, because I could not find the print runs. If anybody has those, that would be wonderful. But I don't know where they would be, and I'm not sure how these are being sold there. Is this AI, Thoro?
Yeah, Thoro says, make sure you guys are subbed up to my boy. His name is Thoro. You guys know him as Keep It. Thoro Comics. He says this is AI.
I mean, I don't know if he's joking.
See, I was thinking of this cover. Let me share my screen real quick. Share screen. See, I thought it was this cover originally. I thought it was that one, but it doesn't even look the same. And then the opposite one was the Batman over the Spawn, and then this is the San Diego one.
So this morning, McFarlane went out and he talked to a couple trades. I think like Hollywood Reporter, and I want to say the one that started Vanity. And he was talking, and it's on the internet too, some clickbait sites and some decent sites. But I guess he joined Whatnot.
Yeah,
and he's talking about the Spawn movie. He's talking about the Spawn comics, so on and so forth. He mentioned something about being a part of comic book history with Whatnot this weekend. I don't know. You guys want to look into that. I'm guessing that's why these Spawn books are showing up.
So I'm really curious now, because if this is AI. I mean, look, the AI art is interesting to look at, but man, this AI stuff is really terrifying. I mean, I can see. I mean, I'm usually like not into like people like striking and stuff, but if that is really like the biggest contention about the writer's strike is that they don't want to be replaced by AI, I can see why.
Okay, I have info on this book. So I'm basing this off of a Macari posting of someone trying to sell this book. This is the DC Comics McFarlane Store SDCC 2023 foil exclusives. You had to spend over $300 at the DC booth to be eligible for this book. Is what it says.
Whoa. And do you have a choice between the red or the gold?
It doesn't say anything about that, but the person is selling the gold one.
Huh.
And it looks like the entire cover is foil.
Is it? I thought it was.
Oh,
it was just the lettering.
So, all right. So I'm not. So I'm not trying to promote the seller or anything like that, but this is the only kind of information I'm finding on it. He has multiple pictures. You can kind of see the glossiness on the entire cover, and not just the gold part.
Okay.
And then you can see it's more of like it's like an action figure actually too, right? Like you can see the points of articulation, the joints.
This is so okay. So this is really weird. I just now want to know if it is AI or if it's just a picture of two toys that they posed and took a picture of it,
and then just have like kind of like filters over it or something like that.
Yeah, for like for the background and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, because I mean, it kind of looks like more. Let's see.
Now I kind of want it. Not that I would pay, well over $100 for it, but
yeah, I mean, because that looks more like like that. Wasn't there a book earlier on the list that had that claymation feel to it?
That's why I said I thought it was claymation initially.
Did we have another book that was like that too earlier on the list, or am I just like hungry? I can't tell.
I think you're hungry.
Okay.
Man, now I'm hungry. Why am I hungry?
Yeah.
It's because we're all hanging out with Bryan too much. That secondhand smoke rate or something. But thank you everyone for noticing my haircut earlier in the chat. That's why I'm not wearing a hat, because I finally got a good haircut. That's why I was wearing a hat so much. Like, I was growing out my hair because like the last person that cut it did it really bad, and then
I wish I could grow my hair out. I haven't cut my hair all summer, and it's literally just like looks like I've got like a military cut, except on the top there's no hair. So that's why I've got a hat on.
All right. I don't remember what we usually do on the outro because I'm usually on Drunken Chat by that point in time. So did we just play the outro video? Is that
yeah.
it? Or...
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate every single person in the chat. I appreciate Yi for stepping in for Bryan this week. That's a big, huge help. Yeah. So, and I always appreciate Richie. Make sure you check out Aaron's page on IG. He does some really cool things there. He's kind of all over the place. He's on like every show every night. So he's on like 14 different channels. So
I do try to limit myself now to 3 to 4 shows a week at max. Because
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know either. But yeah, make sure you're subbing up to Richie's channel's Spec Media. I mean, he's on that final stretch to 1,000. I know what it's like to do that. It's really it can get really tough, but like, I've usually done it with a crew full of people. He's doing it solo, so that's definitely a lot more self-discipline because there's no accountability from anyone else but yourself, right?
Yeah, and things are getting real busy for me on the back end when it comes to work and stuff, and it's tough. I have a ton of content ready to put out, but I just don't want to put it out like I've done in the past. I've rushed it, and the production value is not there for everybody, so I want to make sure that it's there before I start. So it's gonna be a little slower, but just hang in there. It's gonna happen. Try to at least put out something every week. So
yeah. And I think Bryan's having way too much fun in San Diego to do anything. So I'm not sure if we're doing anything for Beyond Wednesdays tomorrow night. Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, and I've watched the Hot 10 for a long time now at this point. And, to be sitting here, on the panel is always great. So,
yep.
Great to have you, man. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. And then congrats again for hitting that 300 lists for the Hot 10 for CBSI.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of lists.
Yeah. All right. You'll have a good and safe weekend. I might jump on Drunken Chat. I don't know yet. I'll probably eat something first, but yeah. You'll have a good one.
All right. See you.